So, hello students, good morning. How are you all? So, I am back with some of the new important topics of 1st April. So, let's start our discussion. So, here are three important topics for 1st of April. So, first is Artemis 2 mission. Good morning. How are you all? This is very important topic for UPSC because UPSC asks some of the missions. Obviously, missions of India are very important, but NASA missions are also important. So Artemis mission. What is the objective of that mission, or what are some prelims related facts? We shall be discussing everything about this mission. After that, Nalanda University. So recently, the President of India visited this university. So some of the important facts are important for prelims point of view. Third is very important topic related to interstate water sharing disputes. So the constitutional provisions and various acts related to water sharing disputes is very important. So directly question can be asked in prelims. And finally, a practice question, what we are doing every day. So I think the yesterday's question is clear for you because I received one answer from one of our student about the NALSA, and actually second question I asked about mRNA and miRNA. So I didn't receive any answer yet related to that. So even if you don't answer, at least read those topics because they are important for the prelims. So these are the topics. Let's start our discussion. Okay, so this article is related to Artemis 2 mission. This article I took from Indian Express. So here, some of the things which are important are first is the agency under whom this mission took place. Second important thing is about the aim or objective of the mission. So at least these things you must know. Then we shall be going in detail about the various prelims related facts. Let's start with the basics of Artemis mission. So Artemis mission, which agency is related? Agency is NASA. And yes, from today we will do one more thing, that if any flow chart or any table is possible in any prelims topic, then at the end of the topic we shall be revising through that table or flow chart. So it will be easy for you also to revise. So wherever it is possible, we will do. So for this Artemis mission also, I have provided a simple flow chart so we can revise through that flow chart. So agency is NASA, first important thing. The second is Artemis mission is a lunar mission. Lunar mission means mission related to moon. Moon is a natural satellite of Earth. So this mission is related to moon. Another important thing is this is its aim is to establish the first long-term presence on the moon. Now, in 1972, NASA has initiated a very important mission that was Apollo 17, and that was also related to establish the human presence on moon. And after 1972, this is the first mission after 1972, which NASA is doing. Now, for this Artemis mission, NASA has partnered with three important space agencies. The first is European Space Agency, second is Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency, and third is Canadian Space Agency. So these agencies are also important. So it's not alone the mission of NASA, but NASA has partnered with three other space agencies. Next important thing is this Artemis mission is not a lone mission. This mission has been divided into four parts. So Artemis 1, 2, 3, 4. So today's topic is related to Artemis 2 mission. So because of this, it's important for us at least to know the objectives of all the four Artemis mission. Because no two will be now. Actually, it is scheduled for 1st of April, that is today. And I think in 2028, Artemis 3 is scheduled. So because of that, it's important for us to know at least the objectives of all the missions. Quickly, let's discuss about the Artemis 1 mission. So important thing about this is, see, obviously Artemis mission is mission to the moon to explore the moon surface. Important thing here is this was first uncrewed flight test mission to moon. Uncrewed means no astronauts were involved here. So this was first uncrewed flight test mission, and two spacecrafts were involved. First was Orion spacecraft. Second was Space Launch System rocket. So two spacecrafts were involved. First was Orion spacecraft. Second was Space Launch System rocket. Now, something about Orion spacecraft. So its basic purpose is to take humans into deep space. This is okay. Another important thing is it is partially reusable. Reusable means, for example, this is a spacecraft and this spacecraft is coming back into the Earth. So because of the Earth drag and because of the resistance which it faces in the Earth's atmosphere, generally these spacecrafts get destroyed. Hence, they are not reusable. But special thing about Orion spacecraft, it is partially reusable. So it saves a lot of money for NASA. So first we discussed about the Orion spacecraft. Next we shall be discussing about the Space Launch System rocket. Few small things related to prelims, which we shall be discussing. So first important thing is it is super heavy lift expandable launch vehicle. Expandable launch vehicle meaning that it can be used only once. That means whenever it enters Earth's atmosphere, then it will get destroyed. It will get burned up or yes, so it will get destroyed or it can be discarded in the space itself. So this is the meaning of expandable. So what is Space Launch System rocket? So it is expandable launch vehicle which is used by NASA for the Artemis mission. Second important thing is at present, this SLS has the highest payload capacity of any rocket in the operational service. So this is also very important. First important thing, this is expendable launch vehicle. That means it can be used only once. Second important thing is at present, it has the highest payload capacity of any rocket. Now, coming to main topic, that was Artemis mission. So each and every point I will be discussing will be very, very important. First important thing is it will be first crewed flight test mission. First crewed flight test mission. That means in Artemis 1, we discussed it was uncrewed. That means no astronauts were involved. But it will be first crewed flight test. That means here astronauts will be involved in Apollo. So since Apollo, it will be first crewed flight test where astronauts will be involved. Second important thing is it will be a flyby test mission. That means this spacecraft will go and perform a flyby test, but astronauts will not land on the surface of the moon. So this is also important. After flyby test, they will return to Earth. They will not land on the moon. And the astronauts who are involved, so mission will include 3 NASA astronauts and 1 astronaut from Canadian Space Agency. So basically 4 astronauts are involved here. That's why we call it as crewed flight test mission. Now, what will be the aim of this Artemis 2 mission? So its aim will be to expand the knowledge related to space radiation and to assess the human health and human behavior on the moon surface or near the moon. And next thing about to know reveal the knowledge or discover things about the space communications. So why we are focusing on the human health and human behavior? So that Artemis upcoming missions like Artemis 3 and 4, we will be knowing that what all issues humans are facing, so that we can enable them to land on the moon. Because Artemis 2 is not related to land on the moon. Artemis 3 will be related to land on the moon. So for that, we must know that how human health and how human behavior is performing. And astronauts and mission controllers will collect data on the Orion and cruise performance to assess that whether next mission is possible or not. Now let's discuss Artemis 3 mission. So I think Artemis 3 mission is scheduled for 2028. Important thing is it will be first crewed moon landing mission. Here moon landing was also being done. In Artemis 2, it was only flyby test. Here moon landing is also done. Second important thing is moon landing will be on the moon's south polar region. Very, very important. Moon's south polar region. Another important thing is it's one of the important aim is to place first women and first non-white person on the moon. So this is also very important. Coming to the fourth part, that is Artemis 4 mission. So its main aim is to launch astronauts to the lunar gateway. Lunar gateway is the space station in the lunar orbit. So for example, this is moon, this is orbit of the moon. So somewhere here, lunar space station will be placed. And so its aim is to launch astronauts to the lunar gateway. Now here you have to give me one answer that what is the latest lunar space mission of India? So you have to answer in the comment section what is the latest lunar space mission of India. You have to give the name, then you have to give the year, in which year it was launched, and third you have to give me answer that at which pole of moon it landed. So three things you have to give me answer about the name of the mission, about the year, and on which pole of the moon this mission landed. Okay, so this is your one homework. I will write here so that at last also I can revise that what all things I have given you. Yes, since we are discussing about the Artemis mission, so Artemis Accords also becomes very important. So let's discuss briefly. They are not directly related, but Artemis Accords, Moon is one of the part. That's why let's discuss. So first important thing is that who established Artemis Accords? So who established? US along with seven founding members. So basically there are eight founding members of Artemis Accords. So apart from US, they are Australia, Canada, Italy, Japan, Luxembourg, UAE, and UK. So, and UK in 2020. So, what is the objective? Its objective is to make principles, to govern the principles which are related to peaceful use of the outer space. Peaceful use means, for example, a war is going on between country A and B, and if these principles under Artemis Accords are not set up, maybe country A will deploy weapons on the moon. And no, these those weapons can be used against country B. So because of that, Artemis Accord says that we have to work on the peaceful use of the outer space. That means outer space will be used only for the peaceful purposes. Peaceful purposes like the communication and all. So this was the principle to govern the civil exploration and use of outer space for the peaceful purposes. Here, the most important thing is this treaty is non-binding. Non-binding multilateral agreement. Multilateral means various countries are involved. Bilateral means two countries are involved. So it is non-binding. That means you cannot force any country that don't use outer space for the military purposes. Next important thing is India is also part of this. So any accord or treaty of which India is part, that is very important for exam. So it's maybe you don't remember the name, this number, 47 countries. It is signed by how many countries? But at least you must know that India is part of it. India has signed Artemis Accords. And this is built according to the Outer Space Treaty. Outer Space Treaty is the principal treaty which governs the peaceful use of the outer space. Now, as I have told, wherever possible, we will revise our entire news through table. So let's discuss now. So this news was about Artemis program. Artemis program is related to the exploration of moon. Some programs will involve the uncrewed mission. Some programs will involve the crewed mission. So talking about the Artemis 1 was the uncrewed mission. It involved two spacecrafts and rockets. First was Orion, second was SLS, and they will enter the moon orbit. Second mission was the Artemis 2 mission. So this is the first crewed flyby mission. Crewed means astronauts will be there. Flyby means they will not land on the moon. So humans will orbit moon, but they will not land on moon. Third mission is the Artemis 3 mission. So crewed. This will be crewed and human. This will be crewed mission. That means humans will be involved and landing will also be there. So this will be first human mission since 1972 Apollo mission. Another important thing here is the spacecraft will land on the south pole of the moon. It will land on the south pole of the moon. And final mission is the Artemis 4 mission. So Artemis 4 mission, here the keyword is lunar gateway. Lunar gateway meaning the spacecraft, the space station, which will be located on the lunar orbit, that is orbit of the moon. So hence space station on the moon orbit. Okay, so I think this was for the first topic. Second important topic is related to Nalanda University. So here the context is the President of India visited this university. So that's why some of the prelims related facts becomes important for Nalanda University. Okay. So see, whenever we are reading any topic related to ancient history, so there are specific kind of questions. There are specific patterns of questions from which UPSC can ask. For example, if I am talking about the Nalanda University, so what all possible questions can be asked? First of all, who established this university or who founded this university? In which year or in which era this university was formed? Third important thing, what all important rulers are related with this university? So the name of those rulers, name of important scholars who visited this university, name of important students who studied in this university, and name of important teachers who taught in this university. All these names are very, very important, and the year or the era is also important. So, having discussed all these things, let's discuss the important prelims related points. So, first of all, who founded this university? Gupta Emperor Kumar Gupta, who is also called Shakraditya. So, Kumar Gupta founded Nalanda University. When he founded. So it was in the early 5th century in 427 CE, and this university flourished for around 600 years until 20th century. Because after that, this university was destroyed. We shall be discussing who destroyed this university. Now, important ruler related to this university was Harshvardhana. So during the era of Harshvardhana and Pala monarchs, it rose to popularity. Another important thing is during this when Nalanda University was flourishing, how many scholars on what are the name of scholars who visited this university? So important scholar is the Hyun Sang and Moksadeva. So Hyun Sang visited this university. This is very, very important. Who is Hyun Sang? Hyun Sang is 7th century Chinese Buddhist monk. So name of the scholars is very, very important. Now, let's discuss another important point. So first Chinese scholar was Hyun Sang. Another Chinese scholar was It. So he also visited Nalanda. And see, whenever scholars are visiting Nalanda University, so when they go back, they write something that what they observed in the university. So what he wrote, he stated that Nalanda housed around 2000 students, and this university was supported by the money given by around 200 villages. So these all things he wrote. Also, a number of students from various countries came to study in Nalanda University, like China, Mongolia, Tibet, Korea, etc. etc. Now, according to some archaeological evidences, there existed a Shailendra dynasty in Indonesia. So, according to archaeological evidence, Nalanda University also had contacts with the Indonesian dynasty, that is the Shailendra dynasty. Also, Lord Buddha and Lord Mahavira meditated in this region. This is very important because UPSC asks questions on the chronology also. UPSC can simply ask, consider the following statements related to Nalanda University. For statement 1, Lord Buddha meditated in this region, or Lord Buddha is related to this region. So if you have an idea that some of the important personalities are related to this region, you can easily answer. Another important thing is about the great masters such as Nagarjuna, Aryabhatta, Dharmakirti. They contributed to the scholarly traditions. So these three names are also very important: Nagarjuna, Aryabhatta, and Dharmakirti. Now, as I have already discussed, that this university flourished for around 600 years till 12th century. So, what happened at the end of 12th century? This was destroyed by Bakhtiyar Khilji. Who was Bakhtiyar Khilji? He was the governor. He was the general of the army of Qutbuddin Aibak. So it was destroyed. So this name is also important. Year is also important. So many points are important here, especially non even if they are not in many points are important for UPSC, they will be important for other state exams. Now, next important thing is who rediscovered it. So it was rediscovered by Francis Buchanan Hamilton in 1812, and later it was identified as the ancient university by Sir Alexander Cunningham in 1861. So all these points are very, very important for other government exams also. Okay, next topic is the interstate river water sharing disputes. So here the context is that as we know that majority of rivers are India do not pass through a single state. Majority are shared between states. So because of that, river water sharing disputes is no a very frequently occurring topic in some month or the other. That's why recently also it was in news. So important thing here for us is to discuss the constitutional provisions related to water sharing disputes. So here, let's discuss quickly about the summary, what all has been given in the article. So article says, because of the increasing urbanization, because of the increasing population, water demand has been rising. And see, some of the states might have no very large urban population. Some of the states might not have. So because of that, it becomes very difficult to equally share the water between the states because the more urbanized states will be having more water demands and hence the issue of interstate river water disputes arises. Since most Indian rivers are interstate rivers, so when the dispute will arise, see, for example, a river is flowing in this way. This is a upstream state. Upstream state means from where the river is coming, and downstream state from where the river will be finally draining. So if you are stopping water in the upstream state, then there will be water scarcity in the downstream state. And this is the main issue. What upstream states are doing, they are building dams and barrages. To build the dam, you have to block the water. And if water is blocked, then there will be water scarcity in the downstream region. Here are some of the recent examples which are given in the news. Like recently, there were disputes between Punjab and Rajasthan related to Gang Water Canal. There were dispute between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu between dispute over Pennayar and Kaveri River, etc., etc. Now, to deal with all these kind of disputes, central government has constituted 9 different tribunals under this very important act, Interstate River Water Disputes Act of 1956. So 9 tribunals are set up. So far, no, 2 or 3 tribunals awards have already been published by the tribunals. Like for Krishna Godavari, awards are already published. But for the rivers like Mahanadi, they are still under adjudication. That means they are still under scrutiny. No final decision has been given. Okay, and this was a very good case study which was given in the article. So maybe you can use in your mains answers. So case study for the river water dispute for Kaveri River. So first thing is Kaveri Basin is shared by 4 places. So first is Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Puducherry. And when the final award was given, so based on that award, these 4 states, these 4 locations were allotted water in this manner. So Tamil Nadu was allotted the highest quantity of water, after that Karnataka, Kerala and Puducherry. So this can be used a very good case study whenever any question is asked related to river water dispute. Now let's discuss the important constitutional provisions which are related to river water disputes. Here in this article also we shall be revising everything using a table. So first important thing is when we talk about water as a subject, so water is listed under entry 17 of state list. So what does entry 17 says? It deals with the water supply, irrigation, canal, drainage, embankments, etc., etc. So if anything is in the state list, then under normal conditions, a state government can make rules on that list. Talking about the entry 56, so this is part of the union list. That means union government, exclusively union government can make laws on that subject. So entry 56 is related to interstate rivers and river valley disputes. So if there is any dispute related to interstate rivers, then union list can take any action. So these 2 things were related to the entries. Now talking about the Article 262, which is very, very important. What does Article 262 says? That Parliament has the authority to deal with any dispute related to interstate river or interstate valley. So it says Parliament by law provide for the adjudication of any dispute with respect to the use distribution of interstate river or river valley. So who has the authority to deal? Parliament. Second important thing is Parliament can direct the Supreme Court or any other court that no one will interfere in the awards which are given by the tribunals, which are set up under the Interstate River Water Tribunal Act. So this is a second important thing. First important thing, who has authority to deal with the interstate river disputes? Parliament. Second, Parliament can direct Supreme Court or any other court that no one will interfere in this matter. Now, next important thing is, as we already said that under Article 262, Parliament has the authority to make law. So exercising power under Article 262, Parliament has made two laws because it had the authority to make laws. So two laws were made. First was River Boards Act of 1956. Second was Interstate River Water Disputes Act of 1956. So please remember this, under both of these acts, any power is given to the union government. First important thing is the who has the power? Union government. What power union government has? Union government can establish river boards to deal with the issues related to interstate rivers, and this will be in consultation with the state government. If we talk about the Interstate River Water Disputes Act, so under this act, center can establish a tribunal to give the decision related to Interstate Water Disputes Act. So under River Boards Act, river boards will be formed. Under this act, tribunal will be formed. Now, this content I have taken directly from the act only. So please do focus on what all things I am discussing. Very important for the exam. I am discussing now important provisions related to Water Disputes Tribunal. So first important thing is how many members will be there in the tribunal. So tribunal shall consist of chairperson and two other members. So it will consist of chairperson and two other members. And who will nominate chairperson and other two members? They will be nominated by Chief Justice of India. Okay, and what will be the qualification of the members of tribunal? So qualification will be they can be judges of Supreme Court or judges of High Court. So judges of Supreme Court or judges of High Court can be member of Water Disputes Tribunal. So two important things from this point. How many members? Chairperson plus two members. That means overall three members. Who will nominate the members? Chief Justice of India. Third thing is what will be the qualification of those members? So this tribunal will have same powers as the powers of civil court under Code of Civil Procedure 1908. So it will be having powers of civil court. So various other organizations like National Human Rights Commission and other statutory organizations also have the powers of civil court. So what is the meaning of civil court? If it is a civil court, then it can require the discovery or production of any documents. It can summon anyone. It can summon or enforce the attendance of any person. So all these things come under the powers of civil court. Next very important thing is decisions of the tribunal are final and binding. That means, for example, tribunal has given some decision, so you cannot appeal in Supreme Court or High Court against the decision of this tribunal. This will be final and binding. Final means you cannot go to any other court. Binding means you have to use that. You have to agree with that tribunal or with that award. Next important thing is the decisions of this tribunal will have same force as the order of Supreme Court. That means if, for example, Supreme Court has given an order A and the manner in which it will be implemented in the country or any state, in the same manner, the award of this tribunal will be implemented. Yes, now let's discuss briefly mechanism for interstate river water disputes resolution. So as I've already discussed that to resolve the disputes, this act of 1956 was made. So under the provisions of this act, if any state government is going to central government that we two states have the water dispute, then if center thinks that no what they are saying is correct and what they are saying is valid, then they center can form a water dispute tribunal, and water dispute tribunal will adjudicate for the issue. Now in 2002 there has been a specific amendment in this act, and the amendment was if center constitutes a water disputes tribunal, then If center thinks that both states are saying correct and we have to constitute water dispute tribunal, then under 1 year time frame that tribunal must be made, and under 3 year time frame the decision must be given. So within 1 year center has to form the tribunal. Within 3 years the tribunal has to give the decision. Union list, so it is related to interstate river regulation. Next important article is related to Article 262, which authorizes the Parliament. So, hello students, good morning. How are you all? So, under Article 262, a power has been given to the Parliament to make laws and to form tribunal to deal with all these disputes. So, law Parliament has formed this 1956, and tribunal has been formed, and the decision of the tribunal will be final and binding. Now, so this was the complete revision of all what we discussed. Now you have to give me answer in the comment section that interstate council is related to which article of the constitution. So here the second homework is related to interstate council. You have to tell me the article of interstate council. Now a practice question. Oh, sorry. Yes, sir. So this I made a table also for the revision of the tribunal. So first, what is the law related to tribunal? So it is Interstate River Disputes Act. Who will set the tribunal? Central government. Who will be members of the tribunal? They will be judges of Supreme Court and High Court. What about the decision? So decision will be final and binding. And what will be the role of Supreme Court or other courts? So their role will be limited. No one can inquire in the decision of the tribunal. Now, a practice question for you. So the question says, with respect to the Interstate River Water Dispute Act of 1956, which of the following statements are correct? So first is, President of India can set up a water disputes tribunal. Second is, the tribunal must decide on the disputes within 6 months. Third is, the decisions made by the tribunal are final and binding. So please read the question once again. Whenever you are answering, please go through the content, what all we discussed, and then try to answer this question. So today you have to give me answer of three things. So first is you have to give answer of this practice question. Second thing, you have to give me article related to interstate council. And the third thing, I think I asked question in the, yes, here under Artemis mission I asked. So here you have to answer the recent lunar space mission of India, in which year it was launched and on what pole, on which pole of moon it will be landing. Okay. Okay. So I think that's all for the discussion. And yes, we shall meet in the next lecture. Thank you.